Good morning, guys. I can't be in the classroom again today, so I'm going to leave you this video here so that you guys can follow. Today's lesson is not a very difficult one, and so the more specifics of it, we'll talk about it a little bit more in class, and we'll see it in the weeks as we go by. So there's something specifically I want you to see in this video, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So again, this video is here so that you all can refer to it. If you're subscribed to the channel, again, pre-calculus videos, CXG, you can find these on YouTube and you can follow them. Okay, so again, they're here for you. I'll upload more of the ACT videos as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's lesson is inverses. Okay, and so what we're going to be focusing on today is how do you find the inverse of a function algebraically. And so what we will talk about in the days in the following weeks is going to be what these graphs look like, and so today it's just like a simple how can I find the actual function, the equation for it. So you will need your formula sheet, so make sure that that's ready. I'll give you a little bit of time here so you can go ahead and pull it out. These notes, which you're already seeing here, you should have picked them up in the front, and the assignment, which is also up in the front. So, first thing we're going to look at are the actual steps, and so, like I said, we will talk about these a little bit more as the weeks go on. So, you can be a little bit more specific on what's happening with this process. But you all should not have this slide, and you got to remember, when you don't have this slide, that means it's going in your formula sheet. So this right here, formula sheet, pull it out. This is what you need to be writing. Okay, so in the back there's a section called inverses, and that's where these steps are about to go. So you have 3 steps, 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of these you need to be writing in your formula sheet. So go ahead and do so. Again, if you need to pause here, go ahead and pause. I'm going to keep moving forward, but go ahead. Also, whoever's substituting in my class, could you pause the video right here? That way the kids can go ahead and write these steps down. Okay. So our first problem here is telling us to find the inverse of the following function. So I did give you all 3 steps. First one being to rewrite rewrite f of x as y equals. Okay, and so very simple step here. You're rewriting the same thing. So instead of f of x, I'm going to write y equals. So this is 3x plus 2. Second step is to switch the x and the y. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to write a y, and everywhere I see a y, I'm going to write an x. So right here, I see a y, so all I'm doing is switching it. This is now going to become x. Right here, I see an x, so this is going to become y. And I continue writing the rest of the equation. And the last step is to solve. So here, I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. So I guess I should be a little bit more specific. Solve for y. So I want the y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2 here. And this becomes x minus 2 equals 3y. And the y still not by itself. So right now it's being multiplied by 3. So to get rid of it, I will divide by 3. And in the end, I'll end up with x minus 2 divided by 3. Okay, and so this is my inverse. An important step about this, and they will put this on exams and things like that. The final answer here, so that you can show that this is the inverse, you need to write it this way. F negative 1 of x equals x minus 2 over 3. So this is my final answer. Again, I just rewrote this, but instead of writing y equals, I wrote the inverse of f of x, as that's all this means. So make sure you're doing that. Okay. So next problem here. Okay. Again, all we're doing here is finding the inverse. Okay, and so first step was to rewrite f of x as y equals. And so the only thing I have to do here is change this f of x and turn it to y equals. So this is the cubed root of 4x minus 2. And next step is to switch the x and the y. So here, instead of a y, I'm going to write an x, cube root. 4, instead of an x, I'm going to write a y, and then minus 2. Okay, so again, I rewrote the equation, but I switched them around. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the third step, which is solve for y. So this part right here, you see how I have a cube root? So instead, I'm going to cube it. That's how I get rid of it. Okay, and this will mean whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm left with x cubed equals 4y minus 2. Okay, again, the y is still not by itself, so add 2 here, add 2 here, and I'm left with this equation. And now, again, the y is still not by itself, so divide by 4, divide by 4. So I will be left with y equals x cubed plus 2 over 4, which, again, I can't just write it like this. I have to write the inverse. And this right here would be my final answer here. Okay. Now, just one more last note, and you can just go ahead and put it here at the bottom. Let's say I had something that looked like this. Okay, and when I'm trying to solve for, excuse me, I should put it the other way around. Okay, so if I had x plus 2 is equal to y to the 5th power, the way I would get rid of this 5th power is by taking the 5th root. So I know there's some questions like that on the worksheet. This is how you would get rid of it. Okay, so just an extra note there in case you all have some problems with that. So again, guys, this is you can pause this, you can watch it at home, and please ask the sub to pause or even go back if you need if I went too fast for y'all. So if you have questions, I am available through email, so go ahead and send me an email, and I will see you all tomorrow.